N'hésitez pas à monter en tribune sur le terrain 1 pour voir la France affronter l'équipe des États-Unis dans la catégorie Mixed Master. Sur le terrain 7,
Live coverage of the 2017 World Championships of Beach Ultimate continues on this Wednesday afternoon in Royan, France. And it's a delight to have you with us for a critical matchup in the Mixed Masters division. The schedule was made before the tournament started, and the schedule makers deserve a pat on the back because we've got 7-0 France, the host nation, against the defending gold medalist, the U.S., who are also 7-0 so far in the 12-team Mixed Masters division. One of these teams will remain unbeaten, and one of them will suffer their first loss in the next 45 minutes. With Liz Garfinkel, I am Evan Lepler. USA and France, I'm not sure we expected these two teams to be unbeaten this deep in the tournament, especially France, but clearly they've put together a team committed to it, and they are really pleased with how they've played so far, and now they get to battle the best.
France is showing a lot of very solid squads. This tournament, France is the host country. They did not have to travel to be here. France has a long history in the European Ultimate scene. There is no surprise that they were able to get 15 strong players together to field a team here.
France will launch the pool. Sébastien Lebrusquet, and the United States led by Trey Katzenbach and Kimberly Beach, the captains. And this is Sean Murray, who's had a balanced tournament so far with 9 goals and 9 assists. Calvin Ung, the team's leader in assists, and Dom Fontenette with the disc, the timeless veteran, the team's leader in goals. And a quick hold for the USA as they punch it in immediately to Sean Murray.
Really efficient action there by the U.S., just taking care of business very quickly. France very excited to be playing this game against the U.S. Their goal for this game is to play with no mistakes, work on their safe game, and have a good, strong game against the U.S.
Well, there are 12 different Mixed Masters teams competing here in Royan. That's double the number of Mixed Masters teams that competed in Dubai.
And double the number that competed in 2011 in Lignano, Italy, when I played with this U.S. team with Kimberly Beach as well.
So the Mixed Masters division internationally has grown. There's an 11-game round robin. You play each and every team over the course of the first 4 or 5 days of the tournament, and then right into semifinals. The top 4 teams will make it. Certainly these two teams building strong resumes to make that Final Four. Disc in the hands of Matthew Kaba. One thing I noticed studying this French team, Liz, the scoring so far is very balanced. There are 6 different players who have between 16 and 19 scores, goals plus assists. There are a few additional players that have 12 scores. There's not one player that's certainly separated from anybody else in a large way. And they probably haven't seen defensive pressure like this in the red zone, but they get it into the hands back to Matthew Mueller, who's got 14 assists so far in the tournament. That leads the squad. And the French with an offensive hold, turnover free.
Matthew Mula, who played on the mixed team at the London Grass Worlds last year, one of about 5 or 6 players from that team are now on this Mixed Masters Beach team. And I misspoke earlier. Back in 2011, we only had 4 teams, now that I remember correctly.
Wow.
Only a 4-team division. So 3 of us did medal, and that was a strange factor going into the game. We got to play those teams quite a lot, got to know them as well as we could.
Who were the 4 countries?
The 4 countries were GB, US, Germany, and then Courier Islands. So it was really, every team was going to medal. The question was who was going to get what.
Things have changed in a fairly short time. That was 6 years ago, and the field has now tripled. Murray able to center the disc. Maureen McCamley back to Sean Murray. McCamley, Katzenbach. Trey Katzenbach, easily old enough to be a grandmaster if he so chose. He's 46, but the doctor from Philadelphia, who didn't start playing Ultimate until relatively late in his life, just continues to be one of the most well-conditioned players on any team he plays on, and folks rave about the impact he has on a team's culture.
Trey's from San Diego, I believe, and he's got that San Diego kind of sunny disposition, perhaps. Plus the fitness craze down there, so. Though his physique maybe not creating quite the stir that it might have a few years back.
We're on serve, 2-1. Owen Westbrook with the pull. And the French center to Matthew Mueller. Olivier Labbé. Active mark from Joel Wooten, who's been known for his defensive prowess throughout his career. Wooten chasing around Mueller. Labbé looking end zone, too far. And the game's first turnover out of the hands of Olivier Labbé. The U.S. with 45 meters to go into the wind to try and break. The wind is not incredibly vicious at the moment, but it is certainly a factor.
Also creating an important breeze in this hot day.
In the shade and with breeze, it is very pleasant. Oh, great catch. Morgan to Wooten. And the United States has the first break.
That was a fun moment. Wooten looked over at his player. He wanted to be able to give her the opportunity to bring that down. Wasn't sure if she was making a bid on it. Once he realized she wasn't making a bid on it, he had to bring up his step a bit to go for it himself. But in the end, it was no problem grabbing it. See it now.
Tough catch from Morgan. It was tight defense from France on the deep shot. But Joel Wooten runs it down. Ryan Morgan the assist. He and his wife Ashley just became parents. They have a 4-month-old son named Rhett, and everyone on Team USA has been raving about Ashley Morgan, who was a swimmer in college. Went to Stanford, swam there, found Ultimate, and she's still one of the faster players in the team, just 4 months removed from giving birth. She said she started running about 3 weeks after. France going upwind and doing it smoothly. Well done. Jonathan Vallée with the score.
France keeping it in a close game. It's only 3-2 at this point.
The whole French team coming up to the line to talk about the point. This is a tradition in the southern part of Europe that we're starting to see spread to some of the other countries.
Matthew Cabo will pull. Katzenbach with a hand raised at the other end. Again, both these teams are 7-0 so far here at Beach Worlds 2017. Dominique Fontenette. Murray and Westbrook playing catch in the backfield. Now looking for Katzenbach. He shook free of his defender, Kaba. Katzenbach, the sure-handed cutter, gives it up, and USA punches it in.
USA not having to work nearly as hard for that point as France did for the one before it, but still, this is a close game, 4-2 early on.
7th goal of the tournament for Bridget Kane. One of the many players on this team who have achieved their PhD. Keegan Newell was running down all the folks who had acquired PhDs. Of course, Dominique Fontenette has an MD. Joel Wooten has a PhD. Katzenbach's a doctor. Maureen McCamley has an MD and a PhD. If anything goes wrong, they've got a lot of people who can help.
I think they're all relieved that if someone does get injured, they're not going to be the one who has to deal with it. There are plenty of options. B.Y.
Chow has her PhD. If anybody gets a frisbee in the chops, Chelsea Tuig is a dentist. And that does happen, frisbee to the chops.
It does happen.
When I was a freshman in college, the captain of our women's team had her nose broken playing defense in the cup, and the backhand just went right into her nose.
I had that happen, not a broken nose, but still knocked out in the nose by a practice throw while I was sitting on the sideline.
That is tragic.
The day after I had driven down from Burning Man to make that tournament.
Ashley Morgan with her 8th goal of the tournament. USA breaks. Morgan saying that she's currently a practice player for Denver Molly Brown. Just 4 months removed from giving birth. She and her husband Ryan would like to keep playing, but they also like to work and like to spend time with their newborn son. Understandably so. Morgan to Morgan for the score. And looks like they've been there before.
Not the first score in the Morgan family. Ashley Morgan, wonder in choosing the name Rhett for their son, how much of an affinity she had for the other famous Ashley and famous Rhett. Or if it was just a coincidence. I can't imagine that was a coincidence.
It's a great pull. France from the back of their own end zone. Aude Hermand, the spirit captain for Team France, over to Moeller, and now Labé. This is Lacave. A pick was called. Kimberly Beach out there for the United States.
Always a fun one to watch.
Deep shot goes up, but too much. No chance for the cutter. Labé. Westbrook, Uhl, and Hemesh out there with Chow and Beach for the United States. Keegan Uhl. with a turnover. Wondering what happened to the cut.
This miscommunication, Beach got overlooked for the first time and went out.
Tough grab from Mueller, and then to the end zone, an even better catch. And the most spectacular score of the game belongs to Olivier Labbé.
Really pumping up point there for the French after the U.S. communication error. Beach had made a little cut and it got cloggy in there, so she was hesitant to continue that one cut, but that was what the thrower was expecting. And instead, France just immediately converted with some really tough playing. And
upside down disc. That knee certainly landed in bounds.
It's a beautiful catch. See it again. Yep.
Spectacular.
So that's big for France, saying this 5-3.
12th goal of the tournament for Labbé, who's one of the half dozen players who would enter this game between 16 and 19 scores. Calvin Ung hits Dominique Fontenette. Trying to create some space and up the line. It's a great job by Ung selling the dump cut and then wide open up the line. Fontenette has probably made that throw about 1.7 million times in her ultimate career.
Another one of those names that you've heard of a million times if you've been following U.S. Ultimate in any of its capacities.
You ever compete against Dom?
I have not. I have not had that opportunity.
Callahan Award winner at Stanford and national champion in Boston, national champion in San Francisco.
Major, major force for West Coast Ultimate.
So France, who's had some close games, the French narrowly edged Germany 11-10. They beat Spain 13-7. Also had a tight game with GB 10-7. We asked their captain Inga Hui, and the French careless turnover there, just miscommunicating, and a chance for USA to take advantage of the gift. And Wooten in the back of the end zone receives the disc from Westbrook. The Americans take half 7-3. The French entering the tournament were hoping to be in the top four. They were hoping to make the bracket, the semis. And Huil, the captain, admitted basically before the game today that they're a little surprised they're 7-0. They're maybe redefining their expectations a little bit. Now perhaps hoping to be in the top two. And not a terrible first half from France, but USA has been nearly perfect. There were only 4 total turnovers in that half. 1 for the U.S., 3 for France, and it's 7-3 the Americans at the half. The face of Ultimate, the World Flying Disc Federation. Again, Mueller receives the center. And France going downwind here. Canada and Finland are 2 other strong teams in the mixed Masters division. Those 2 countries played a 1-score game earlier in the tournament. And that's just an example of trying to do too much with the throw and too little with the legs.
That was Aude Herman, the other captain on this team, and she was telling me before the game that their strategy was to play their safe game and to not make many mistakes. And now, unfortunately, we've seen just 2 mistakes from France. They were really only two of the more obvious ones that we've seen so far, but they're going to need to get back in their strategy to keep this a game.
In the words of the great American philosopher Mike Tyson, everyone's got a plan until you're punched in the face. USA, quick disc movement. Hemish shooting it long. Keegan Ewell can't get there. Not enough flow, a little too much angle on the shot from Hemish, the champion with Minneapolis Dragon Thrust in the mixed division.
From my very short perspective, one would think that with a body that long, if he did put it in the air, he would have come down with it. But I think it was dropping too quickly for him to transfer the direction of his rather large
Interesting here,
body.
as you see on the screen, there was a travel call before Hemish's reception and ensuing throw that was incomplete. So the USA will keep this in WFDF rules, which is a break. Chelsea Tuig, an accomplished career. 9 goals, 4 assists so far in the tournament for Chelsea. Owen Westbrook bluffs the deep shot, comes under, and Ashley Morgan may have been freed up by either a foul or a pick. American players are some of the worst in the world at using hand signals after there's a call.
We don't do them very much in the U.S. It was a shock to me that this even existed.
Westbrook shooting for Ewell this time. Flat-footed. Clap catch. 8-3 USA.
When it was suggested that I learn the hand signals for the commentary, I said, but why? There's no observers at Beach Worlds. I had no idea that this had caught on in the past couple of years.
Makes it even more important to know the hand signals.
Beach Worlds has not done advisors. They're trying to keep things, not advisors, observers, to keep things as close as possible to the origins of the sport, which are completely self-refereed. In the U.S., they've gone more in the direction for observers, and this is a big sticking point throughout Ultimate communities, both within the U.S. and outside the U.S. Within different countries, there's often disagreement about the role of observers in the sport. And one of
France going into the wind, trying to snap a 5-0 USA run. And 2 defenders there, fortunately both popping up. Kimberly Beach.
Kimberly Beach is such tenacious D. So much fun to watch on the sand.
Fontenette to Wooten. Rising backhand. And Bridget Cam with her 3rd score of the game.
Very, very exciting point by the women there on the U.S. team, just laying it out for the D and for the score.
And knowing that the throw was going downwind, Wooten with the rising air bounce to give Kane the chance to run it down.
She had it in her hands actually before the layout, but just with the momentum of her body taking her down.
So from 5-3, it is now 11-3. And this French team that started 7-0 will have to regroup. They will have an important game against Finland coming up. Then Hungary and Canada remaining on their pool play schedule.
Not quite a tale of 2 halves, but the first half definitely had a more closely connecting French team than we've seen in the second half.
And Canada and Finland are the 2 teams that gave USA the closest games, 13-7 in each of them. Germany and Japan also got 4 goals against the U.S.
Again, I really think that the U.S. focused very heavily on this game and wanted to do what they could to really shut them down from the beginning, and now the momentum is keeping them up.
USA has GB, Colombia, and Switzerland remaining on their schedule before semifinals. Moeller resets to Erma. Moeller, not enough float. And you can just see the difference. The U.S. with the precision and finesse on some of those throws in the wind to get the right level of float, rotation on the disc. France, even on their home sand, struggling in the breeze.
It was an exciting moment. It looked like a good throw going off, but it just didn't quite read the wind right, and it just sailed past the reach of the defender's legs.
McCamley initiates. This is Calvin Ung. Washington, D.C. truck stop. Came to the team at the last minute when Asa Wilson had to be taken off because of some health issues. Wish Asa all the best. Remember the gold medal winning U.S. Open team 2 years ago in Dubai.
Asa is doing doing well now, but had the AVM, had a brain bleed, was out for a few months. It was in the ICU for a month, but is recovering really well and expected to have a full recovery.
Scary stuff. Maureen McCamley saying she was lifting weights with Asa last week and said he's doing well. VY Chow's on the board. Accomplished career. VY's played with a number of different teams, now with the mixed team Blackbird in the Bay Area. USA now with 7 consecutive scores. 6 breaks in a row. And USA still has only turned it over 1 time in the game.
Wow.
They are 1 point away and 1 Keegan Uhl misthrow away from being perfect, which is a thing that San Francisco Revolver coach Mike Payne talks about, saying we're always in pursuit of the perfect game.
Well, the U.S. Mixed Masters team is such an improvement from the year that I played on it. We were really just kind of got the dregs from what was left for picking the team. We had little knowledge about the team we were forming. I was on the committee to pick the team after having been moved one of the managers, and it was a challenging thing to try to put a team together, having no coach to work with us, and we still did well, but you can see now this is just a much
incredible defense there. Bridget Kane laying out, no call. USA looking to close this thing out.
Excellent D.
Uhl to Hemish to Kane, completing the bookends, and the USA's 8-0 run to improve to 8-0 here in France.
Like I said, a much stronger team than before, a much more organized team before. Having a coach makes all the difference, but also just also great spirit. They enjoy playing together, and we could see that on the field.
13-3, a statement made by the Americans in the mixed masters division. Who knows, maybe these two teams will meet again, and maybe it would be different the next time around. France will look to regroup. They've got Finland, Hungary, and Canada. Meanwhile, the United States, who just beat Hungary 13-1 in their previous game. USA has GB, Colombia, and Switzerland left on the schedule. Still the closest game for the 8-0 Americans, 13-7. This one, Bridget Kane had herself a game. Ryan Morgan had several assists and only 1 turnover for the United States en route to their 13-3 victory over the French. Plenty of more Ultimate to come here on this Wednesday afternoon in Royan. But for now, on behalf of Liz Garfinkel and our entire crew, Evan Lepler bidding you adieu. Bridget Kane, the D, and the score bookends to win it for USA here in Royan.
Le prochain match sur le terrain 1